YouTube, we're here for Desucon Frostbite 2025 and this time I'm not lecturing, I'm not doing anything of the sort, but I'm selling my stuff at the flea market for the first time ever. So I hope that goes well. I want to drop off my stuff today. Today is Friday and today I'm doing a very casual Harley Quinn cosplay. I just realized I forgot to put on my hair things. And then tomorrow and on Sunday I'll be Desucon. So I'll see you at the convention. So by the time I made it to the venue, it was already pretty dark, but the line was still long outside. So I waited in the line and then I went to the flea market pretty much right away. Thankfully there, even though the flea market was already open, I didn't have to wait in the line. I could just cut the line because I was a vendor and take my stuff in there. And the flea market system is great. They have cash registers there and you register your stuff, they basically scan it and then you have to find a space for it in the shelves yourself and you can just leave your stuff there. Now the finding space in the shelves thing was the hardest. You may think looking at this footage that everything looks nice and clean and neat, and it did. But there was no space left by the time I got there. It was so hard to find space in the correct areas because the areas are sort of divided by the stuff you're selling. You can't just put everything anywhere. And it was so hard to find space. One of the staff told me that it would have been easier if I had bought my stuff on Saturday when some people have already bought some stuff. But books are really heavy. And I didn't really want to come back with them another day, so I just shoved my stuff in one of the upper shelves. Actually, I asked someone to put it there because I'm really short. I managed to fit it eventually, and I think that might have been a good call because, spoiler, the only stuff I sold on Friday. I also sold this beautiful bodyline skirt for 15 euros and I thought, no, I'm not buying anything before I also made some money. But anyways, after putting my stuff away in the flea market, I went to the Black Butler lecture. Now this lecture was titled "Is Black Butler Problematic?" and I don't want to take away from the nuance of the topic. I think the lecturers covered it really, really well, so I'm not gonna summarize it. If you want, it should be available in full on Desucon's YouTube too, because they put most of the lectures there and I highly recommend checking them out. They're in great quality, much better than some of the quality of this video, so be sure to check it out. I loved this lecture. It was probably my favorite lecture of the entire event. They also compared the Black Butler fandom now and what it was when they were still young fans, and that happened to be the same time when I was really active in Black Butler fandom, so I had my own memories of the time that they were talking about and it felt really authentic, and it was also interesting to compare my own memories of the fandom with the ones that they had. They were younger than I was when they were in the fandom, and I think that did slightly influence their view on the fandom, but overall it was just really interesting and really nostalgic. If you look at my YouTube channel, some of my most popular videos have been Black Butler AMVs and Black Butler videos, so you know that I was in that fandom for a really long time as well, and I really, really loved the lecture. It was super good. Afterwards, I hung out with some of my friends and just spent a nice rest of the evening. The Desucon's Sibelius Hall main hall was decorated with these Christmas lights that they apparently asked the hall to keep up after a Christmas event, and I think it was a great idea because I loved it and I know some other people loved it as well. So I spent a bit of time at the venue and then it was time for Saturday. Now Saturday I was cosplaying as Desucon, but speaking of cosplay, on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. the cosplay competition tickets were supposed to come on sale. And they didn't because the system didn't work properly. So they came on sale at 10:40 and pretty much instantly sold out. Everything worked, but they sold out so fast that I didn't get them online. So I thought maybe I will go and see a free run lecture instead. But first I went and saw a lecture about villains and whether or not villains are in the correct in some cases. Now there are some medias where I think this point could be really, really well made, but the examples they used, and they spoke of this using different moralistic theories, and it was interesting, and I understand where they were coming from, but it was still probably my least favorite of the lectures. I also visited the artist alley. Desucon's artist alley is divided between 2 floors. If you don't know, they're sort of narrow, like corridory, and I would say that this time it was actually better organized than previously, space-wise. I feel like there was more space than there has been previously. Now, Desucon has been doing this thing where they put these really famous artists in the sales area, which I also visited on the same day right after, so there's footage of that too. And this allows the artists to be there for both days, but this also makes sure that there aren't that many people at the artist alley for the really famous artists, because the really famous artists tend to draw a crowd and there isn't a lot of space in the artist alley. So overall, I do think that this is the correct take. However, I also feel paradoxically that while it takes away from the crowd at the artist alley, it also takes away from the artist alley, because you don't really have those artists that lots of people go there for, that you know whose style, you know whose art you look at and you're like, wow. And I didn't get anything on Saturday from the artist alley or from the sales area. I had a good look around, and they actually did have some modal stuff. I saw a lot more of these acrylic stands than the ones you briefly saw here, but they also sold out super fast, which is a good thing, because honestly I don't need another acrylic stand, but some of them were so beautiful I was genuinely a little bit tempted. I also went to see a lecture about the inspirations behind the Nana manga. Now, this lecture I also loved. I have nothing critical to say about this other than the fact, and this really isn't the proper criticism, that I already knew a lot of this stuff, and very little of it came as a surprise to me. But overall, I really enjoyed that lecture, and it was great as well. I also went to listen to a lecture about otome games. Now, in this case, I really loved the way the topic was presented, the way that they had chosen the topic and the way it was raised and looked at, but I don't play enough otome games myself to fully enjoy it. So I think the takeaway here is that I should have played more otome games. Then, because I felt like I had had enough of lectures for one day, I decided to check the info desk to see if they have cosplay tickets. And this is always a good tip. If you don't get the tickets online, try the info desk. And they had 1 ticket left, so I got to go to the cosplay competition. Now, the tickets you get from info are always on the second balcony, and the hall is also really dark when there's a contest going on, so I knew that the video quality was gonna be awful. If you have watched my other Desucon videos, this is no surprise to you, but I still filmed some because I feel like some bad footage is still better than no footage. Now, Desucon's cosplay competition is really versatile, and it was even more versatile this time. They started with the ECG cosplay competition, which is the one where they have both the show and the costumes be important, that both are graded. So all of the performances are a show as well, are basically a mini play. Now, my favorite was actually the My Little Pony one. I think the person cosplaying was so in character, and they had done lots of outfits, because they also had the outfits that the character had made and that the character wasn't wearing. So I think that was actually my favorite. They didn't become first, but they definitely placed. But yeah, that was my personal favorite of that group. Then the second part was the craftsmanship cosplay competition, where the costume making was the part that was mainly judged. And here people would come on stage and the host would talk about their costume making process, and there would be no show elements. And you can see all of the contestants here. The overall quality for both of them was really good, really high. I really enjoy how Desucon's cosplay competitions are pretty short and condensed and high in quality, because Estonian and Latvian ones tend to be quite long. They also this year, for the first time at Desucon, had a CMV, or cosplay music video competition. I had never seen a CMV contest, but supposedly there have been others in Finland, but I had never seen one before. And you know how I feel about video editing. I love it. I love all sorts of video contests. There were only 6 contestants. Their videos had been reviewed by a panel of judges, but you would think that because this was the first contest that maybe the quality wasn't so great, but you would be wrong. All of the 6 videos were really, really good, and they almost felt like a art house or a film university, small indie films, and I mean this in the best way possible. They were so interesting and cool to look at, and I hope that they keep doing the CMV contest, and if there are enough contestants, I would also even like if they made it a whole separate block, because there is space on the main stage. There isn't always something going on, and I don't think there has to be, but I think it would be cool if the CMV competition could be its own thing as well. I will also see if I can find the CMV contest videos on YouTube, and if I can, I will definitely put a playlist down below so that you can see them in much better quality. Afterwards, I went to the anime quiz. Now, you would think that because I worked for an anime shop in a long time that I would be good at anime quizzes. I'm not really, but I hope I helped. We had a smaller team than usual, but I still think we did pretty well. Our team did pretty well, but my friends did most of the heavy lifting. And that concludes our Saturday. Sunday morning started again with trying to get tickets, this time to the AMV competition, which, as you know, for me is a Desucon highlight. And I was fully prepared to not get tickets because I almost never get them online. I've gotten them online once, and I got them online again this time. I was so happy. I was ready to go to the info and try to see if they have any left, but I got them online. I got good seats, so now the quality of what is going on the stage is actually much better, I would say, but still I wanted to enjoy all of these amazing videos in full, in their intended quality, so I'm gonna list the playlist down below and make sure to check it out. And now this time there were over 60 contestants and only 25 were selected for the final showing. Interestingly, the summer Desucon didn't have that many contestants, but the last winter one also had loads. So the winter ones in terms of AMV seem to have a much tighter competition, and I have to say I did feel it. The videos from summer definitely weren't bad, they were still good, but I felt like there was less variety. But this time there was loads of variety and the quality was so ridiculously high. They even told the contestants that if they didn't get into the finals, they should still try and send their videos to other competitions. And really, like, the quality was insanely good. I sat there wondering, how are the judges gonna be able to make a justified pick? How are they gonna justify saying that one video is better than the other? Obviously it's art, it can't be fully 100% objective, but they really had their work cut out for them. One of my friends also participated with 2 videos, which speaks of their quality, that they can get 2 videos in there because the quality was just so high. Now, that being said, the judges' choice was hard, but I completely agreed with them. They also had these really clear, precise subcategories that you could win, like best minimalism and best maximalism, and I think that's a great idea, because I think the videos they chose for these category winners really were the best for that team. It was an insanely hard pick, but I do agree with their choice. But man, all of those videos were so good. Now, I went to see the Artist Alley again for the second time, and this time they actually had one of my favorite artists, but all of the arts that I wanted to get were already sold out, so I ended up getting nothing there as well. I took my stuff back from the flea market as it closed. I still have loads of Doctor Strange comics left. If you want to buy them, I put them up on an Estonian auction site, from where I think you can also buy if you're not in Estonia. I'll put a link anyways. But I'm not completely sure. I also hung out with my friends and took pictures with some of my fellow cosplayers who were also cosplaying from the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and overall it was a really good time, and for once I actually had time to stay until the closing ceremony. I have done it once before, and Desucon's closing ceremonies are really great. I really recommend them. The shows have really good actresses, and they're always really enjoyable and fun. Overall, the closing ceremony is definitely worth it. The videos they put together for it as well, super fun, super nice. And they also had their guest of honor appear there. It was a Japanese voice actor, Tsubasa Yanaka, and the autograph line was insane. I saw it, but I didn't get an autograph because I'm not personally super familiar with the work, but they seemed super nice. So yeah, that was my Desucon experience. I had a really good time. I definitely recommend Desucon, even though I think I'm gonna skip the next summer one, but we'll see. If you were at Desucon, let me know in the comments below, and also leave all your other thoughts in the comments if you have any that you'd like to share with me. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more convention videos or just stuff from me relating to dolls, for instance, and Winx Club, then make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next one.